What is up, everybody? It's your boy Young Big Mac, and we are back with another deck profile. We are starting off the Astral Radiance format with a returning archetype, one that I think is very favored in this metagame, hopefully, and that is Jolteon VMAX. Let's get right into the deck profile. We are going to start off the deck profile with Jolteon VMAX, the main attacker, with the only attack, Max Thunder Rumble. It does 100 damage and 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with damage counters on it. For a lightning colorless, that's not too bad, honestly. In my opinion, we do play Elemental Badge, so we can attack with 1 lightning energy. We play 3 copies of this card. I like the 3 copies. I played around with 4. 4 was way too much, and 2 is way too little. 3 is the perfect number. Following Jolteon VMAX, you need to evolve it from something, and we have Jolteon V. You don't really attack with this, but the first attack, Thunder Spear, is a great way early game if you want to do some bench damage to your opponent's bench Pokemon. Pretty good attacker. We play 4 copies as this is the best Pokemon to start, and we always want to start it because it does have free retreat. Next up, we are playing 1 copy of Quick Shooting Inteleon. The ability reads, once during your turn you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Play the 1 copy as I just said, and this is great at putting damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon, so you can use a secondary effect on Jolteon VMAX's Max Thunder Rumble attack. We are also choosing to play 1 copy of Shady Dealings Inteleon. When you evolve into this Pokemon, you get to search your deck for any 2 trainer cards. All the cards in this list except for the special energy are searchable through trainer cards, which this gets, so basically we have access to our whole entire deck through this 1 copy. Next up, we are playing Drizzle. Basically the same thing as Inteleon Shady Dealings, except it's 1 trainer card. We play 3 copies of this card. I used to play 4. 4 was way too much, and now I'm just down to the 3 copies, as I do find it preferable that way. Next up, we are playing Salvo, most importantly the Rapid Strike Salvo with the Keep Calling attack. We don't play the other Salvos, as sometimes when we're in a pinch it's a good idea to use the Keep Calling on Salvo to get more Salvos to fill out your bench so you can evolve into Drizzles after. We play 4 copies, the maximum amount of copies. I don't think I would ever go down to 3, I think 4 is a perfect number. The last Pokemon we are deciding to play in this list is Galerion Zigzagoon. When you bench this Pokemon, you put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. This includes bench. This helps us with Max Thunder Rumble. We play 2 copies. Sometimes you use 2, sometimes you only use 1. Starting off the trainer section, we are playing Path to the Peak. Pokemon with a rule box in play don't have abilities, both yours and opponent's Pokemon. Pokemon V and GX, etc. have rule boxes. Now this is very important because the Radiant Pokemon do have rule boxes. Also, a lot of Mew decks and other decks that rely on abilities aren't playing a lot of stadiums, as Path to the Peak has gone down in playability. We are playing 4 copies. I have won games against Mew just because I had more Path to the Peaks than they had counter stadiums or options. The first supporter we are playing is Professor's Research. We play 2 copies, discard your hand, draw 7. It's not a supporter we want to play all the time, but if we're in a pickle or if it's at the beginning turns of the game and we have a dead hand but we have a way to get Drizzle out, we can just discard the dead hand, or if we don't have a hand, and just draw 7. Very good early game, very bad late game, as you don't want to discard any of your resources. The next supporter we are choosing to play is Cheryl. The effect reads, heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon. If you do, discard all energies from that Pokemon you healed in this way. So let's say we have a Jolteon VMAX with no energies, but it has damage. We can use Cheryl, but let's say we have Jolteon VMAX with energies and we use Cheryl, we have to discard all those energies. We end up playing 2 copies of this card, as usually you're not going to get more than 2 Cheryls off per game, as you want to use other supporters to help you out throughout the game. I might decide to put a Pal Pad in the list later on just so I can get some more Cheryls, because I have won games just because my opponent couldn't one-shot me and I just Cheryled every single turn. Next up, we are playing Boss's Orders. Basic supporter, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. We are playing 2 copies. We can search it out whenever, so we don't need to draw into it. We ideally don't want to boss all the time, as we want to finish the game before we can get 3 bosses off, which isn't possible, but if depending on what our opponent's playing, is definitely possible. The next supporter we play is Marty. Each player shuffles their hand, puts it at the bottom of the deck. The player that played this card draws 5 off the top, and your opponent draws 4. Great disruption, great draw. We only played 2 copies. We were playing 4 originally during the Brilliant Stars format, but now we are down to 2, and I do like to cut down to 2 copies of this card. The next supporter we play is a new card, just came out in Astral Radiance. It is Roxanne. The effect reads, you can only use this card if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck. Then you, the player who played this card, draws 6 cards and your opponent draws 2. This is great against Mew. If they knock out one Jolteon VMAX, we Path of the Peak them, play Roxanne, and they usually dead draw from there, as they can't use their Genesec's ability to draw more cards. We are playing 2 copies of this card. I think I might cut 1 copy and add in a Pal Pad, as this is only useful late game, and if you draw into an early game, it's kind of a dead card. Next, we are playing Level Ball. Search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. This searches out Galerion, Zigzagoon, Salvo, and Drizzle. Very, very good card. We are playing 4 copies. If I could play more copies, I definitely would. Next up, we are playing Quick Ball. Discard a card from your hand, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, and put it into your hand. Very good card. Searches out Galerion, Zigzagoon, Salvo, and Jolteon. We are playing 4 copies of this card. Next up, we are playing another search card. We are playing Evolution Incense. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Very good card. Searches out Drizzle, both Inteleons, and Jolteon VMAXs. We play 4 copies of this card. If I could play more copies of this card, I 100% would. Next up, we are playing Elemental Badge. If the Pokemon V this card is attached to has Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon in its name, it attacks cost 1 colorless less. Since Jolteon VMAX attack costs 1 lightning, 1 colorless, this allows us to attack for 1 lightning, which is 1 attachment, which allows us to use Cheryl over and over again. We are playing 3 copies of this card. The next card we play is Scoop Up Net. Put 1 of your Pokemon that isn't a V or GX into your hand. Discard all other cards. We play 3 copies. Basically, let's say we have an Inteleon in play. We can play Scoop Up Net, bring back the Inteleon, Drizzle, and Salvo. And then we can play the Inteleon on another Drizzle to use the effect again. Very good card. 3 copies. I was playing around with 4. I don't think I like the 4 copies. I think 3 copies is perfect as it is. Next up, we are playing Energy Search. Search your deck for a basic energy card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck afterwards. We play 2 copies. We are playing the artwork from Fossil. The legal printing of this card was printed in Sword and Shield base set, but since it has the same text as this card, we are allowed to play the older version of this card. Very good card. We do play some basic lightning energy, so we do get to use the effect of this card. That's why we play it. And the last trainer we play is a new addition. We only play 1 copy, and that is Canceling Cologne. Until the end of your turn, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities. This includes Pokemon that came into play that turn. Very good card, because that allows us to boss up Manaphy's, play Canceling Cologne, and we get through their ability. It also works with the new Miltank. We can turn off their ability and hit right through them, and any other pesky abilities that we don't like. First up for energies, we are playing Speed Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides electric energy. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your lightning Pokemon, draw 2 cards. Very good consistency card. I love it so much in this list, as I have attached this and drew into pieces I did need to attack. We play the maximum amount of copies, which is 4. And then lastly in the list, we are playing Basic Lightning Energy. We play 3 copies. We can search it out with Energy Search, which we can search out with Drizzle or Shady Dealings and Inteleon. Very good card. We only play 3. I do like the 3 since we only attack for 1 energy. Since we have Elemental Badge, we don't need too many energies in the list. So that is the list. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think I might make 1 change to it, and I might get rid of 1 Roxanne for a Pal Pad. Let me know what you think of that change. Let me know what deck you want to see me do next, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video.